Mr. Speaker, I believe that all members of the House attach great importance to education. From the debate that I've listened to today and in connection with some of the amendments, I think the importance of education has been underscored again and again, and not just by the words that have been spoken, but by the underlying arithmetic. I would suggest that we have a demonstrated need for some remedial arithmetic in this chamber. We've heard relentless repetition of the claim that public school funding has been reduced $1 billion. When in fact, if you start with looking at the basic education line, you will see that this year it totals $5.5 billion. Back at the year which is being pointed to as a high water mark, the final year of the past governor's budget, that amounted to $4.7 billion. Now, I dare say that any child in a third grade class would not have much difficulty understanding that $5.5 billion is an $800 million increase in the support for basic education. Yet I'm told again and again by my colleagues that somehow or another this is a decrease. And I would suggest that if you can't tell the difference between an $800 million increase and a $1 billion decrease, well, maybe that actually explains how the state got in the fiscal mess that it did in the past administration. Total education funding has also increased overall, even taking into account the $1 billion of federal money that was there and is now gone. Nonetheless, total education spending is increased overall. Now, to the extent that you have got concerns about that $1 billion of federal funds being discontinued after fiscal year 2011, how many of you have written to the president and asked for him to return it? You're in the wrong room to complain about that. Send a letter to the president, ask him to restore that $1 billion. That's where it stopped. Didn't it stop here? You know, one of our colleagues suggested there's disparity in how these funds are distributed for education and ticked off a number of districts. I'm pleased that he thought to mention Upper St. Clair, which is my home. And incidentally, USA Today just recognized as one of the best school districts in Pennsylvania. People in Upper St. Clair take education very seriously. In fact, a lot of people choose that community because of its commitment to education. Now, basic education funding in Upper St. Clair comes in as a whopping $5.29 per day per pupil. $5.29. Now, the gentleman who is suggesting that somehow there's a disparity that favors districts like Upper St. Clair, his district receives 5 times as much. 5 times as much. There is, in fact, a disparity. My communities and many of the other members here's communities really pay for their school districts locally with a bit of help from the state, but then contribute to the greater good to fund other school districts like my friends from Lancaster. I would suggest that if he wants to cure this disparity and have an even distribution of funding per child to every school district in this state, that my people would probably welcome it. Be very happy to take that on. But if you can't tell the difference between $5.29 a day and $25.81 a day, well, I guess I could understand why you might see things as being unfair. But I don't. Let's stick to honest arithmetic. We've got a balanced budget. We're looking to be on time, and we're not spending money that we don't have. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.